Paintball nerd.
Today's guest on Paintball Nerds Fun 5 started playing paintball in 1999. In 2003, he went pro with Trauma. He's played for Aftermath. He's played for Moscow Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Dave Fason.
What's going on, Zyzek? It's been a while.
Yeah, buddy. Where you been? Where you been all this time?
I'm just hiding in the woods and out in the salty flats in the middle of the ocean, taking pictures of people fishing these days.
How long you been doing that?
So full time now for 4 years, and then kind of here and there for about 8 years. No, I take that back. 7 years. So yeah,
this is your career.
That's my career now. Yep, that and social media management. So, creating content, posting, all that type of stuff for companies anywhere from the fishing world to grow lights to paintball still, and then apparel companies. So a big mix of things.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about when you went pro with Trauma. Let's rewind here, get back into the memory banks. Tell us about Trauma as an amateur team, because I think a lot of viewers are newer pros and they may not know the story. So tell us how you guys dominated in the amateur division and then went pro.
Well, we played a whole lot. So it started out, and you recently had Tyler on, so there's some of that, which is pretty cool. So we combined teams when Image broke up. We were an amateur B team and we were pretty good. We were getting really, really good fast because we were playing against sometimes Image when they would come down to practice. Well, then when Image broke up, Rob owned a paintball field that was in town. And he got with us and basically said, hey, would you guys, want to bump up to amateur A for at least a year or so? Opie and Mike Maroc, or Turtle, and they would come on board. And also, crazy as it can be, you just had Andy on. Andy played with us for an event or two then as well. So we played in the amateur A, and that was on the very tail end of Strange and their dominance and whatnot. So we were always trying to battle it out with them. And then once Strange went pro, our team kind of took over, I think, being in my opinion, the top team in the amateur A. And then that's when we won 6 events in a row. And I can't tell you the year, but we won a World Cup and then won the entire next year into World Cup. And then, so it had to be actually 01, 02, because then 03 is when we went pro. So we played, we were really, I would say, really good then, even though it was still amateur A. But we were, practicing against pro teams regularly. We weren't practicing against many amateur A teams or anything like that. We just wanted to play against the best people all the time. Keep being good and keep on learning.
And this was 10-man. So when you guys went pro, not only did you bump up, you switched to an entirely new format that you'd never played before.
For sure. So, we were all kids then. So it was pitched to us as this was going to be the thing to do. And it was, I guess at the time, it was such a great idea. We ended up doing really well in the league, but I wish they would have kept both. But yeah, we went pro. And I apologize. Are you hearing the ringing?
I am.
Yes. But yeah, we were so when we went pro, it was sold to us as like the big Dick Clark thing and all that stuff. And we even signed contracts. And I wish that someone, that when we were that age, it's like, I'll sign whatever. We'll do it. So then it went from there, and as everybody knows, it didn't take off quite as much as what they thought for reality TV and all these different things. But it was some of the best time of my life, getting to do all that stuff, and turning pro was such a big thing for all of us. That's what we wanted. That's what we worked for, and that's what we got.
And 2 years later, you won a championship.
We did. So, I think Tyler went over it, but Rob had a 3-year plan. That 3-year plan was hard. There was a lot of ups and downs. We were always pretty good, but I think staying very consistent was, it was hard. I think it's like anything else in major sports. You have, but it wasn't just event wins anymore for us. It was one big tournament at the end, and that's all that mattered. So you had preseason, and then you had the real deal. So you're working out all the kinks, players, who's good, who's not, who can sub in and whatnot. So we, our owners were very gracious to us in a way. They bought a house and then charged us very minimal rent. So there were, I think, 7 to 9 of us at any point living together. And then we had a private field that we played on. Probably anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week. We had a personal trainer that we had 3 days a week. So yeah, we were all in, and we all believed that we could do this together. It was tough, but that was it. So those 3 years were a grind, and but again, it was some of the most fun, and I think some of the most competitive paintball we ever played.
What format do you prefer? I mean, you've dominated in 10-man, you've dominated in X-ball. If you could go back in time, which one would you say is the format to stick with for paintball?
10-man's great. I think it's really, really fun. I love 7-man because I think it was the field was a little bit smaller, so it was still fast, but you still had all those really exciting moves that are missed, I think, in X-ball. You get some really cool moves, but you're like, all right, next point, let's go do it again, and whatever.
Dude,
it's literally it's like playing a video game. You're like, oh, I got shot, new life, check, let's go and do it again. But in 10 and 7-man, you had those breakout moves, you had those, or you had, which I felt in 10-man we were very good at, where if we were losing a game, generally it was myself, Ryan Hart, Duder, and then a couple, it just really depends. But man, the art of crossing it up from 10-man was, lost with X-ball. You occasionally had that, but, it could be 7-on-3 and you would win a game, which is crazy. But then you also have those breakout moves where Tyler or B-Stu or even B-Hud, old player, they would make these crazy moves down the field for us. And next thing you know, we're winning a game that we probably shouldn't have. And then sending us on into the semis or, even the finals with that. So it was really, really cool. Yeah. But I think 7 and 10-man are perfect. 10-man, I think some of the fields can get too big. And even though if you're into paintball, you're like, oh my God, all right, come on. But with 7-man, I think it was that good little threshold where you had all the same action. It was just with less players, and generally it was a little bit quicker. So it moved on quickly.
You brought up a point that I speak about a lot on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And the younger players that just grew up playing X-ball don't get this. And I try to explain it every time. But it's the importance and emphasis and drama that one move could do.
Yep.
In 10-man and 7-man. It created this tension where, I can make this move and win it. It's all for all the marbles, or I could totally blow it for my team. And it put a lot more importance on one single move, and that made things more exciting to watch. Whereas X-ball, it's like you said, it's so much action. It's just, the point's over. You could do an amazing move. You could bunker 5 guys, but if your team is losing 5-1 and the game's over, no one's going to remember your move.
For sure. And especially when we were, with people, newer people don't remember. So when the NXL first started, I think they were 20-minute halves.
Yeah.
So you would have these.
25. It was a 50-minute game.
And so you would have these, it could be 20 to 14. So you're playing almost 40 games in a span of that. So it would just get lost in translation. And
totally.
sometimes it was cool. You would have points where you're like, well, let's just try this and see how quick we could do the game. But again, it was just, I don't know. It's not, it was a fun thing to try. I just don't think it's a thing that is probably best for the sport. They sure sold a lot of paintballs though.
They sure did. I mean, so now it's 10.5 balls a second, so the guns are shooting slower.
Yep.
It's a 10-minute game, so 10 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
And there's a 6-point mercy rule. So if you get a 6-point lead, the game's over.
Which is great.
So they've slowed it down a little bit, but like I said, I think the closer that paintball associates with the original game that people first play when they first play paintball ever. They're playing walk-ons. It's usually 10 on 10, capture the flag. It could be less people, it could be more people, but it's usually about that.
Yep.
So I think that the 10 or 7-man format is most closely associated with the game that people fall in love with. And that's why I think we should really push that format. But, if you go back to the
we did, a lot of us started out playing with pumps, which like I started playing paintball with a stock class gun in the woods, which is so crazy to think about, because we're in that zone where it transitioned pretty quick, where we're playing in the woods, playing in tournaments in the woods, and hyperball and mountains fields and all that stuff. And then it quickly evolved into, airball with tubes or airball with individual fans and batteries and all that stuff. And then it turned into what it is now.
So just so people, know what is stock class?
Oh man, it's literally, well, I think technically it was just a pump gun that you had a 10-round tube of paintballs, and then you had to, in order, some people ran a 90 from their tube, so it would drop down. But to my knowledge, it was just like straight on the body, and you had to tilt the gun down, cock it, and that's considered stock class. And then
also the air, right?
Oh, 12 grams?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it looked like we were doing a bunch of whippets in the woods, I guess. But yeah, that was stock class. And it was, it was a blast. My dad played with me in those early ages. Dude, there was a guy with a slingshot with paintballs, and he could just work us. He was like a ninja, in the woods. So it was a cool time period to see that type of paintball too.
We've also with X-Ball lost a lot of ninjas.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still there. Like the people that have been playing since Woods days are still there. Well, a few of them. And you can see that skill set. You can see the skill set of sneakiness, whereas the people that grew up playing X-Ball are more athletic and they're going to run it at you,
Yeah.
But the ninja stuff, you see very few and far between. Like Ryan Greenspan, you can depend on him to do some ninja stuff, but he grew up playing in the woods,
For sure.
And you learn a style of play that you can't learn on airball.
No, it's impossible. You're blocking out all these different things and, moving a little bit slower. So you're not grabbing that attention, that reaction where you see something move, at least newer players, I'm sure that's what they're aware of. They see something that's different and all that stuff. So yeah, it's really, it's just different. Like anything else, adapt or die, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah. Have you played any of the 10-man events?
All right. So the last time I played paintball, Tyler and Dave Wooten, another old teammate, got the team together to go down to World Cup. I think it's been 4 years now. So it was pre-COVID. So either 4 or 5 years now. And we played the open division. So that was the last time I played 10-man. But, I was kind of, I hate saying it this way. I was a little upset about the whole situation because they bumped it into just one day. We get there a few days before. The field was never set up. So, come back to paintball and then you have that taste in your mouth. You're like, oh, man. Yeah. It was fun hanging out with the friends and all that stuff. And we ended up getting third. But then, which was pretty cool. But we had no idea that at the end of the tournament, the teams that didn't do well could then come in and play the 10-man with the other teams that are in the finals. And you're like, all right, well, I guess that's cool.
It's not like that anymore.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So you got to come out and play a ICPL 10-man. It's
Okay.
a blast, dude.
Yeah. So, but it was fun seeing all the faces.
Yeah.
It was wild to see some of the old faces that are still doing it. You're like, man, I hear you, bud. So, but it's cool.
Yeah. If you come out to one of those events, it's like you'll see all the old buddies. It's like Paintball Hall of Fame when you go to these 10-man events, because people like, this is the format that they remember, that they enjoyed the most. So like if you've been following paintball for 20, 30 years and you have people in your mind that you think of as legends, you'll find them at those events. And that's one of the coolest things about it. So Dave, tell us about your favorite memory in paintball, one that really stands out for you.
I've got a few, like, I can't like say just one because I played for, gosh, a good period of time. Of course, I'm going to have to say, like, when we won World Cup in 2005 against the Russians, beating them because they were so dominant. I mean, they were ridiculous. And we had a great budget for our team too, and the house and everything, but like they were on a different level. So, but they were like the paid team, and we were the team that was, like, in my opinion, all heart. We didn't get paid, man. So it was all in. Everything mattered on that. And then to beat them in 2 games in a row was awesome, with the crowd and leading up to the games, because there were so many games that were so tough, because I think it was best out of 3 on every, like, I guess, semis or quarters, semis, and so on. So it was a grind. You're playing a ton of paintball. And then we had just played a Bob Long team that was unbelievable and shot like a bajillion balls a second. So beating them and all that was cool. Another really cool one for me would be, or a memory that really sticks out, is we played with the Moscow Phoenix guys, and we won. It was like me, Tyler, Mouse. I don't think Glory Boy was playing that event with us, or something was up, but the 3 of us were playing with these Russian guys, and we won the event. And we were playing against like Oliver and someone else, Budapest guys. And we won, and you could see like how much it meant to them versus us. So it was such a cool thing. They're like, holy shit, we just won this event. The owner of the team, like, I think bought a Maserati because he won. We're like, dude, I don't think you won that much money, man.
No.
But that was really, really cool to see. And then just getting to, this sounds so sappy, and my dad will appreciate it, but I absolutely love playing with my dad from early years into tournaments, because he actually played tournaments too to try to keep up. And he did that and traveled with us for 2 or 3 years. So that was really cool to get that time, because I was a little punk ass kid. I think like all of us when we were teenagers in paintball, and being able to have my dad kind of see some of the success that we had, and then him get to see it later on in life that, hey, this isn't a waste. It's actually kind of cool. And he was all in. So that was really special.
That is, man, that's really cool. Some people may not be aware, but Russians in the beginning in 2003 to 2005, beating them was a different type of special back then.
Yes.
These days it happens, but back then they came into the league and they played the game a way that people didn't play it.
Yep.
Like, you saw them doing things that blew your mind.
Yeah.
Like, and they broke down the sport down to milliseconds. Players on that team at that time knew that if they were gun battling, when someone popped out, they knew exactly how much time they had before the paintball reached them.
Yep.
They would do things like run to the snake and shoot at the back center while they're running at the snake.
Yep.
They would do things like drills, like the back players had 5 paintballs in the hopper and they had to shoot the corner out off the break.
Yep.
Like, they were doing things. And so because they practiced these things, they were accomplishing them in the tournaments, and it was blowing everyone's minds. Like, where did these guys come from? Well, they came from Russia. Yep. And they play paintball full time, and they have apartments and trainers and resources. They changed X-Ball. So, when Dave's talking about beating them in 2005, it's not like it's not like beating them today. Yep. It's like beating the super team. It's like beating the dream team.
For sure.
It's like beating this, it's like Rocky V, right?
Yeah. Yep. No, they were so above everybody, but we, after that first year and we were seeing what they were doing, we quickly, in my opinion, adapted to what they were doing too. We were, drills, we're shooting buckets, running as fast as we can, 200 times a day, over and over and over, doing those things. And it's amazing. Like, like anything else, you put in the hours and all that stuff, but it was, yeah, they were phenomenal. They were that good.
Yeah, certainly. And it's funny that you mentioned with, Moscow Phoenix, and the win was really special because watching the elation on those guys.
Yeah.
And, I heard Ryan Greenspan at this past event in Florida, the Sunshine State Major, they just won. And he's saying how it's like really special for him now to see the newer guys on the team get the victories. Like, winning's great for him, but he likes to see the guys that just came on the team that have never made the finals before win their first event. And that's what's special to see.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And especially the old guard still winning, those guys, another fun memory, I think, just to bring another one up, is when I met Alex, Ryan, Oliver, and maybe Davey. Maybe I started playing in 98, so I apologize. I don't know maybe 97, because I think it was either, I may have gone to World Cup in 99, and it was like my dad drove Duder, myself, and a couple other guys on the team down. And I don't know how, maybe it was Rob. They introduced us to them, the Iron Kids, when they were still playing as Iron Kids the year before they went to Dynasty or turned into Dynasty. But it was like, damn, we can do this. They're only a few years older than us. Like, give us a couple more years and we'll be, I think a few of us knew like we could maybe be as good as them if we just did the same stuff as them. And now they're still playing. So
yeah. Well, I mean, that's really, they've proven that that's the most successful model in paintball, is when you start, before you go pro, you're together playing amateur or novice or whatever it may be, and you go pro with that same group. That model has proven true for Trauma. It's proven true for X Factor, and maybe a few others. But it's like, you need to have that long-term connection. And of course, Dynasty's still winning, and it's amazing to see because these guys are older than most people in the league,
For sure.
So Dave, man, I'm going to make you pick favorites here.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite teammate?
So favorite teammate, 10-man, and I have to say it this way, was probably an early X-Ball is going to be Duder. I mean, we were like best friends. We did everything together. He was a good person to me. And then later, like on the tail end of X-Ball, and then when we started traveling a lot overseas to paintball, I have to say like Tyler. We did everything together at the end. That was fun, between babysitting him and all the above. But yeah, Duder. And then the only other one would be Ryan Hart during the 10-man years too. So we're like the Twin Towers. I'm 6'6". Hart is almost 6'6", right there too. So it was those were cool times and cool teammates to play with.
The Twin Towers. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, dude. Someone bought our jerseys, our old Diablo jerseys, and they wanted mine and Hart's as like a package deal. Super cool to see that. I had no idea they would pay the money they would for the jerseys, but hey, here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Yep.
Dude, earlier you were talking about how Trauma has a lot of heart, and I got Robbie Pettinelli's jersey back there, and he drew a heart on it, like right here with Sharpie, and then put a heart on his sleeve.
Yeah.
And man, that was such a special team. Like, you guys had so much heart, and you guys were just like this awesome group of dudes. Yeah. I actually wanted to play for Trauma, but I was a DIE employee, so it didn't really wouldn't make sense for me.
We had all the weird sponsors back then together, JT, DIE, and one other one. People were like, how are you doing this? Until they say, no, we're going to continue to support them. And you guys supported us too.
So how about favorite player to watch all time, someone who you just know is going to do something good?
I think I had like two. So um, Misha or MJ from Old Russians. I don't even know if he still plays. He was like just
He does.
he was so good. I mean, he would just be running, just go boop, and shoot a guy, and you're like, what? How did you just do that? Fedorov was right there, but I think MJ back then was, in my opinion, a little bit better. And then the other player would be another Russian is Frankenstein. I don't even know what his real name is. He wouldn't even talk to me.
Big guy.
Yeah, but he was so good at that stuff, at what I wanted to do, being a back player too. So I kind of like, I would watch a lot of his stuff. You know, how he played, how he shot, all that. And then in the 10-man years, favorite players to watch, you know, like Poopy was so good. Opie, who was a teammate later on, but, you know, you see this little midget running around playing really, really well. It was cool to watch them. So, but yeah, Frankenstein and MJ are the two that like pop up right away. And I think it was just because I knew that they were such a good duo when they played X-Ball when we were at the top tier.
Yeah, those are good ones. I don't see the Frankenstein guy anymore. I don't know what happened to him. He got too big for the game.
Yeah, and I think he was the type when it started to get a little bit quicker. I don't know if he had the body type and the way to adapt really quick to cater to what that style of paintball was. You know, the bunkers were larger in those first few years. There were shots where, like, I always think being taller is such an advantage because I could shoot down the snake way different than what a person that's even 5'10". You would see a pack differently. And I think he was kind of the same way because I think he was like 6'3", 6'4", but he was a little like tree trunk, you know? And then as things got quick, it was, he kind of disappeared a little bit and the younger tall guys kind of took over.
But I mean, he could still shoot. He was the guy that I was talking about that could shoot both corners with 10 paintballs. That's the kind of drills that he would do, you know?
Starting backwards, I think, too.
And people think I'm exaggerating. Like Mika Huhtinen was on this team and he told me like the drills that he would do. 10 paintballs in the hopper, two guys would run out to corners and he'd shoot both of them. And it's like, what planet do you come from to learn how to do that, you know? It's amazing.
I think the reaction time was so quick then, too, because we were shooting like unlimited full auto and then people had cheater boards and all that stuff. So it was like, you know, how to get that advantage, but also if you were that good with the advantage, it was just, man, it was something to see.
Man, talking about full auto uncapped, like that was a different style of paintball. I don't think people realize today, like how, like the carnage that happened, right? Like if someone like Chris Lasoya was coming to bunker you back in those days, you were just going to wear it. Like, you know, there's no two ways about it. You were going to wear it bad. And here, like these days, it's more like 10.5 balls a second. You're going to feel every ball, you know, it's like, but back then, man, it was like, you got ripped pretty good.
I think one of the most gnarly matches we ever played was when it was full auto. We were playing against, maybe it was infamous, but maybe they were called Miami Heat then, or maybe they were
Miami Effect.
Miami Effect. So we had to play. We didn't play the NBA team. We had to play at basically night in like LA when they had the lights on, and
it was muddy.
Oh my god! You know, like
so bad.
Full auto. Everybody's cheating. The ref didn't know what to do. People were like, if there was a run through, all like in my mind, I was like trained. You make them pay, and you would just put them down. So they didn't want to do that again. It's kind of like a hard foul in the NBA or whatever. But you would just put it on them, and you would always try to get the neck, get the ear, around that area. And that was a wild time. It was like the wild, wild west of paintball, And we were shooting what you were playing then, right? Iron? Yeah. So you were remember Imperial at the end of the tournament. You're pink. You look like you have a disease. There's all types of things. You go back in the airport and you're like, I don't even know. I would just throw away clothes because it was pointless. So those are wild.
But then you'd be stained pink and you have like welts and people are like, what happened to him? What does he have?
Right. And then you're talking to women and they're like, oh yeah, whatever, dude. So it was fun.
Let's Let's see your most cherished paintball item.
Oh man. So I recently just got this back. A kid that used to buy a bunch of jerseys from us. He was a super nice kid, and he contacted me through Facebook and was like, "Hey, you guys got me through tough times." So he sent the old Trauma jersey that was like that we won all the 10-man events in. So it has all the old sponsors like Trauma Head Sports. This is JT and Die, Extreme Rage, Pure Energy, PGI. I don't. Why is that on our jersey?
As a magazine.
Yeah, but what did they do for us? And then an American flag. So it was just awesome to get this back.
Let's see the front of it again.
Oh, yeah. The front has, I guess he got it autographed by a few of the teammates. It wasn't even me. But yeah, super special.
Let's see the back.
And the back.
Man.
So, yeah, it's got the tears and all that stuff. It's this is the jersey that we won 6 events in. So it's really, really cool because most people don't know. I think we may have been the poorest, most popular team too. We didn't get our own jerseys for years. We had to wear secondhand ones, which was kind of cool, I guess, at the time. But looking back, I wish maybe we would have had something from that. But so when we finally got our real jerseys, it's like, oh yeah. And then we won all the events, which was neat. So that's like the only, I don't have anything, or I have a headband. And those are the only 2 things that I have left. Yeah.
What headband do you have?
It's an old Sandana that is like it's like a zigzag camo. I wore another one with just a sweatband. That was because they all called us like the NBA team of when we played NXL. But someone stole that, and yeah. But that's like the backup Sandana that I had and wore here and there too. So yeah.
Something cool about that jersey that people may not know is jerseys today come, with the names on them. Like, it's like they're printed on there. Whereas that jersey is like a vinyl, like kind of like a sticker, and you stick it on the jersey and you heat press it on. And that's what, that's where all the sponsorship labels come from. They're all like heat pressed on there. They're not like printed like they are today.
Yeah. So, and it was hard for us because, like I said, I think we had 4 of those jerseys. We had 2 red ones and 2 black ones, and that's all we got. And, you play as much as what we were playing. It just, they got some abuse. So then the vinyl's coming off and you want them to stay on. You're like super gluing stuff again, or, whatever you could. And it just looks so haggard. But
I love the haggard look, dude. I love cotton pullover jerseys that just get all dingy and faded and ripped up a little bit. Like,
I think I have. So some of the original HK guys, like real old school guys, gave me one of their old jerseys, and I'm pretty sure I have that in the attic in a box actually. So that may be 3 things, and it's like a cotton. I mean, it's so old. It smells like you don't even want it. Like it just is never going to smell normal again. But yeah, the cotton jerseys were awesome. We wore some old JT cotton jerseys back in the day too. The old Image ones that they gave us.
Yes, dude. Man, I'd love to get my hands on one of those.
Yep. So that's it's pretty cool to have.
Yeah. Well, Dave, what advice would you give to a player coming up that wants to make it in paintball? Maybe some advice that if you could go back in time and give yourself, what would you say?
Yeah, I would. For me, you just have to we just had to play as much as possible. Find a group of people that you believe in, that you can do the same stuff with. It's a lot of times I think so many people would switch around. We stayed such a tight knit group, which is really hard, and we weren't making a lot of money. But find that, and then always play against better people. Don't get complacent. Don't do this. Try things out of the normal. Push yourself as much as you can. Like, I think if you can, we were able to afford it because of sponsors, but afford as much as you feel comfortable and play as hard as you can all the time. So where I'm saying is, like, we would have days that we would play 200 points, 150, 200 points, and you do as much as you can and play as hard as you can. And you just get that, you get like really fluid with the people that you play with. What they're going to do. You look, I could look at Tyler still to this day. I haven't played in, a while, but I could see like just a nudge and that he's about to go do something. So then you react to it too. So it's finding a good close group of people, in my opinion, or find somebody really rich so you can do all this stuff.
Do you ever get the itch to play?
It comes and goes. I feel like I'm getting in better shape than I have even back then. But it's really hard for me, and I hate saying it like this, it's really hard for me to want to take 3 or 4 days to play paintball or like a tournament. Then I am so passionate about fishing and fly fishing and telling stories, because that's what I do now. Because of the travel through paintball and whatnot was so great, I'm kind of able to do that on a more mature level with this fishing stuff now, and working with people, getting to meet new people, new cultures, and all that stuff has been wonderful. But like this weekend, there's a scenario game at Tyler's field, or Tyler and Rob's field, and I think like Cowboy Roy now lives here. Roy, he lives in Charlotte. I heard JR may be here. So I'm going to go out and I take pictures for them too. So that'll be cool. So I get to like see the people here and there. But as far as playing, I just don't have that itch. I may do it again sometime. I'm just not sure. Yeah, it was a fun part. I think what people don't understand is like when what I would say, I felt like I could say this. I felt like I was the best at what I could be when I played paintball. Got to do a ton of stuff, and then to take it back on more of a recreational level, I still have that competitiveness where like sometimes I just want to kill somebody when I'm on the field. Like it's like such a weird drive, and I can't turn it off. Like when we played at World Cup, I mean, I got so mad at some people, and I'm like, this isn't me. I'm like super nice, but the moment I got on that field, so then doing it later, I'm not sure if I want to do that again, or I can't turn that off. Unfortunately, I can off the field 100%, but on the field, it's like roid rage, or like, when Frank wanted to fight everybody, or, stuff like that. And I guess that's what happens when you're older.
Yeah. Like you definitely, when you get older, you lose some of the FU in you, maybe not for you, but for me, I have I just want to get out there and have fun and shoot my paintball gun with my buddies. Yep. That's really what 10 Man's all about for me. It's just like the camaraderie and the fun, and
for sure. Camaraderie is huge. I think that's such a thing that's overlooked, is that camaraderie with your close friends, teammates, others that, you all shared such a cool part of your life, and you're able to come together and do that in a really neat way and relive some of those neat and fun memories that, not many people get to do.
When it comes to these memories, what would you say that you're most thankful for that paintball's given you?
It would just be travel and friendship, with those two. I mean, I got to travel, I was kind of like behind the scenes with a lot of the players, but I played all over Europe, Eastern, Western Europe with that team, got to go to Asia. Traveled everywhere for it with people, and being able to see the cultures, understand why things are different in the world. You may not have to agree with it, but it's certainly a good thing to see. And then the friendship side of things is such a huge thing. I have my best friends, and some best friends may not be quite as much as a best friend, but we're still so close, and we all, shared all those memories. And it's just wonderful to have that stuff, and be able to talk about it. It's neat. And meet people like, you guys and so many other guys that, even though it's more of an acquaintance thing, we can, shot you a message, and then the next thing you know, you're like, oh yeah, this is just like it was when we were 18 to 20.
That's what I love about it, man. It's like you can pick up kind of where you left off, because you have this common ground, right?
Yeah,
That's really cool. It's a awesome community.
for sure it is. So I hope things progress, and it's been neat to see some of the old style paintball come about, and more people, some of the older guys starting to help out some of the younger guys or leagues and things like that. So we'll see where it takes us. I'll be on the sidelines. Maybe you'll see me taking some photos for an event one time just for fun to go see people, because that's what I'm passionate about now.
Awesome. Well, Dave, thank you so much for your time here. Is there
Yeah, man.
anything that you want to part with for the paintball community?
No, man, just keep on playing, have fun. Don't be lunatics like we were. Maybe
Maybe
more
a little bit.
people. Yeah, maybe a little bit, like our version. But yeah, that's about it. Just enjoy do what you want to do and enjoy it, and put yourself around good people, and good things will come from it.
Cool. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, man. Take care.